All right, today we're going to go on a bit of a journey, but not through some dusty old books or anything like that. No, this is way more personal. We're going to crack open that vault of guidance. You know, those quiet whispers and those big aha moments that really shape who we are in our lives and our careers.
So you can think of this whole thing as a shortcut, a way to soak up all that hard-won wisdom without having to make all the same mistakes yourself. I mean, who wants to do that, right? The goal here isn't just to give you a list of nice ideas. We're going to really dig into why they matter and how they can actually change things for you. So let's just dive right.
Okay, so where do we even begin? Well, the best place to start is right at the beginning. It's where all the real progress happens, figuring out how to deal with setbacks and really truly understanding ourselves. This is all about building that solid foundation. And this first piece of advice, it's an absolute game changer. And get this, it wasn't delivered on some big stage with spotlights. Nope, it came from a university professor, during regular old office hours, right when things felt like they were falling apart for someone. Picture this. A student just got their project, something they poured their heart into, completely torn to shreds. I mean, a brutal critique. But the professor, he didn't try to sugarcoat it. Instead, he just reframed the whole thing. He basically said, hey, this is supposed to happen. This is just part of the process. So the big takeaway is this. Failure isn't the end of the road. It's just you successfully finding out what doesn't work. And that's the signal that you're ready for the next step. When you start thinking like that, something amazing happens. You stop tying your self-worth to whether you win or lose. The question in your head changes from, why did I fail, to, okay, what can I learn from this? And that shift turns that fear of failure into this appreciation for how much it can teach you. It makes you what they call anti-fragile. You don't just survive the tough stuff, you actually get stronger because of it. But being resilient isn't just about bouncing back from one big failure. It's also about having the endurance to get through those long stretches where it feels like you're getting nowhere. This next piece of advice actually came from a grandfather, right at a time when someone was feeling totally exhausted and full of doubt. And his analogy for this is just perfect. He talked about planting an orchard. For the first few years, right, the trees barely seem to grow. You're out there watering them and nothing. Why? Because all the action is happening underground, in the roots. You can't see it, but that invisible work, that's the entire foundation for the huge harvest that's coming later. It's all about trusting that compounding effect of just showing up day after day, even when no one's clapping for you. So once you've got that persistence down, you have to know what you're actually persisting for. And that brings us to being authentic. A mentor once saw someone trying so hard to be like their successful coworkers, wearing this costume that just looked exhausting. And the advice was so simple. Just be you. I mean, think about it. The energy it takes to pretend to be someone else is just draining. Your real power, your real impact, comes from leaning into what makes you, you. Okay, so we've worked on that internal foundation. Now let's look at how all this wisdom starts to build outwards, into our relationships and our work. This is all about putting it into practice. This next one, it might sound like the simplest rule in the book, but man, it is maybe the hardest one to actually do. It came from a grandmother who used to say, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. And what's so great about this is that it's not just about being polite, it's a real active strategy. It means you have to consciously shut down that voice in your head that's always getting its next sentence ready, and instead just genuinely try to understand what the other person is saying. And that idea of really understanding people leads perfectly into this next point. Just be kind. Why? Because pretty much everyone you meet is fighting some kind of battle you know absolutely nothing about. Our perception of other people is so limited. We just see the grumpy coworker or the guy who cut you off in traffic. That's just the tip of the iceberg. We have no idea about the massive struggles they're dealing with under the surface. And because we don't have all the facts, the only smart default setting is compassion. And what powers that compassion? Curiosity. There's this story about a manager who told a junior analyst, someone who was always labeling clients as difficult, to stay curious, not judgmental. See, judgment is a shortcut. It just shuts down the conversation. But curiosity opens up a world of possibilities. It's like a diagnostic tool that helps you get past the symptom and find the real problem. Yeah, curiosity and initiative. They really go hand in hand. An entrepreneurial friend of mine came up with this brilliant term, permission paralysis. You know what that is? It's that feeling of being stuck, just waiting for someone higher up to give you the green light. The advice here is powerful. Don't wait for permission. Create it yourself. If you see a problem, don't just write up a proposal about it. Start building the solution. Show people what you mean, don't just tell them.
But so often, we hesitate, right? We feel like, I've already missed my chance. Well, this ancient proverb is the perfect antidote for that feeling of regret. Because regret keeps you stuck, looking at the past. This proverb forces you to look forward. It says that taking action right now is the only real answer to a missed opportunity. Every single moment is a brand new start.
All right, this brings us to our final section. We're going to talk about the big picture mental models, the ones that really govern our perspective and our energy. This is all about mastering that internal lens that you see the world through. Let's kick things off with a simple but powerful mantra for making an impact. Less is more. I heard about this project manager who got a ridiculously bloated 60-slide proposal from their team, and they explained that being truly effective is about intentional reduction. You have to strip away all the fluff to get to the essential core. Because clarity is power. And to get that clarity, you have to direct your mental energy in the right way. This leads to a really profound psychological truth, and it's simple. What you focus on expands. I mean, think about it. Your attention is like a powerful magnifying glass. Whatever you choose to point it at is what becomes your reality.
Now, what's super interesting is that there's actual science behind this. Your brain has this thing called the reticular activating system, or RAS. Basically, it's a filter. And if you're always dwelling on problems, guess what? You'll see more problems. But if you train it to look for solutions, to look for opportunities, you'll find your way more resourceful. So how do you do that? A really practical way is a daily gratitude journal. Just intentionally focusing on small wins or people who support you. You're literally retraining your brain.
This next one, it's an ancient saying that offers so much comfort, especially when you're going through a hard time. It's a powerful declaration of impermanence. You know, when you're in pain, it feels like it's going to last forever. This advice plants a little seed of hope, a reminder that there will be an after this. And on the flip side, it also helps you appreciate the good times even more, reminding you to really savor them, because they're temporary too. And finally, let's talk about a direct counterattack on our brain's natural negativity bias. We are literally hardwired to notice what's wrong. This advice is about intentionally teaching yourself to see what's already right, what's already there. It's not about ignoring problems, not at all. It's about balancing the scales. By practicing gratitude, you're building up this reservoir of emotional strength that'll help you handle the tough stuff when it inevitably comes along. So we've covered a lot of ground and journeyed through some really powerful pieces of advice, but the real magic here is seeing that these aren't just a random collection of quotes. They're all interconnected. They're threads that weave together to form a really solid framework for living a better life. Remember, we started by building that inner foundation with resilience and authenticity. Then we moved outward, putting that wisdom into action through better connection and real progress. And we wrapped it all up by talking about mastering our mindset with some key principles of simplicity and perspective. But of course, just knowing these ideas isn't enough. The real change happens when you start applying them. So, as we wrap things up here, I want to leave you with a question to carry with you. What's that one single piece of wisdom? Maybe something someone told you or something you figured out on your own that has truly shaped your journey. And more importantly, how can you use that core truth to drive your progress, starting right now? I mean, that's the real work, isn't it? And there's no better time to begin than today.